These stories are so bizarre and surreal that they defy the boundaries of imagination. Yet, believe it or not, every single mind-bending detail is rooted in absolute reality. Every story is truer than fiction. Today, we delve into 3 fascinating stories that will leave you in awe. But before we embark on this journey, you've come to the right place if you're a fan of the bizarre, creepy, and unexplained. So remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you can experience our weekly uploads. Now let's dive into today's mind-boggling stories. In May of 2011, Michelina, a 27-year-old woman from Huddersfield, England, received a text message from her on-again, off-again boyfriend, Marcin. Little did she know that this seemingly innocent invitation to go shopping would turn her life into a nightmare. Bound, gagged, and stuffed into a cardboard box, Michelina found herself buried alive in a remote forest. But with sheer determination and a stroke of luck, she freed herself from her restraints, clawed her way out of the grave, and escaped. This incredible tale of survival against all odds will leave you breathless. Marcin, an aspiring bodybuilder addicted to steroids, was consumed by jealousy when he heard rumors that Michelina planned to leave him and take their son back to Poland. Fueled by a twisted obsession, Marcin hatched a chilling plan to eliminate Michelina. With the help of his accomplice Patrick, he orchestrated a terrifying kidnapping, intending to bury her alive and silence her forever. However, Michelina's indomitable spirit and unwavering love for her child gave her the strength to fight for her life. This shocking story sheds light on the darkest depths of human obsession and the power of maternal love. Following their heinous crime, Marcin was apprehended and convicted of attempted murder, receiving a 20-year prison sentence. Patrick, his accomplice, faced justice as well, receiving a 4.5-year prison term for kidnapping. This story showcases the resilience of the human spirit and serves as a reminder that justice will prevail, even in the face of unimaginable cruelty. Prepare to be intrigued by these enthralling tales that prove truth can be stranger than fiction. Buckle up and brace yourself for a roller coaster ride through the unbelievable and the extraordinary. Pauline grew up with a nagging feeling that something was off with her family. Her suspicions were later confirmed when her parents, Ruth and Warren, separated when she was 5. Moving to a new house in Vancouver with her mother and brother, Pauline noticed her mother's constant anxiety, leaving her puzzled. Pauline's mother dropped a bombshell when she was 9. They were going on a vacation to Winnipeg, 1,000 miles away from Vancouver. Excited, Pauline joined her family in the van, unaware that this vacation would become a permanent relocation. In Winnipeg, Ruth revealed to her children that they would never return to Vancouver, leaving Pauline and her brother shocked and desperate to see their father. Their pleas were coldly dismissed, with their mother promising to explain everything later. Thus began Pauline's journey of confusion and sadness as she and her brother adapted to their new life in Winnipeg. Over the following 4 years, Pauline lost touch with her father, severing all ties. Adjusting to their new home in Winnipeg, Pauline and her brother adapted, finding solace in friendships. However, another move to New Brunswick, kept secret by their mother, brought more anxiety. Years would go by, and Pauline, now 23, received a life-changing phone call from her mother, finally ready to reveal the secrets of their past. Curious and hopeful, Pauline headed to a motel to meet her mother. As she approached, Pauline noticed her mother's anxious demeanor, pacing outside. Before she could utter a word, Ruth raised her finger to her lips, cautioning her to remain silent. She then handed Pauline an envelope bearing the words, "Don't say anything," and instructed her to place her jewelry inside, warning that it might be bugged. Bewildered yet obedient, Pauline complied, returning the envelope to her mother. In silence, the two entered the motel room, where a familiar face awaited, the Reverend Stan Sears, their former church's clergyman. Pauline instantly recognized him, recalling his close friendship with her mother in Vancouver. Their connection had persisted, with occasional visits from Stan in Winnipeg and New Brunswick. However, the revelation that unfolded next surpassed any prior disclosures. Ruth confessed to Pauline that she and Stan had not only fallen in love, but had maintained a clandestine relationship since their Vancouver days. This shocking confession was merely the tip of the iceberg, leaving Pauline eager to uncover the truth that lay hidden within their past. As Pauline sat in the motel room with her mother and Stan, the shocking truth unfolded. Her mother revealed that her father, Warren, was not just an ordinary man, but a mobster and a vital member of an organized crime syndicate in Vancouver. After their separation, Ruth discovered a hit had been placed on her life, as the mob believed Warren could no longer control her. Moreover, Stan had also become a target because of his relationship with Ruth and his counseling of a mobster in his congregation. Fearing for their lives, Ruth and Stan decided to go into hiding rather than involve the police. They moved multiple times, with Stan secretly following them to Winnipeg and New Brunswick, where Pauline had seen him periodically. The strange incidents from Pauline's childhood, like her mother discarding food and her frequent school transfers, were all precautions taken to protect them from the mob's attempts to poison or locate them. As the hours passed, Pauline bombarded her mother and Stan with questions, seeking answers to the mysteries of her past. Finally, they revealed that they had already informed the authorities and were placed in a particular witness protection program for families connected to the mob. This program offered a level of security with undercover agents monitoring their safety, though it could have been better. Realizing she was still in danger, Pauline sought guidance on how to stay safe. Her mother and Stan explained that they had called her to discuss this very issue. They had grown tired of hiding and entered the witness protection program. This meant entering a strange world where their safety was far from guaranteed, but where they would have undercover agents protecting them from potential assassination attempts. With this newfound knowledge, Pauline prepared to return home, her mind swirling with the revelations of her family's connection to the mob and their current state of danger. After Pauline's mother and Stan revealed their connection to the mob and the witness protection program, they asked a couple of agents to monitor Pauline and her brother without their knowledge. Stan gave Pauline a radio that could be used to call for help in desperate situations, but she was warned to use it sparingly. They emphasized that calling for help would put agents' lives at risk to come to her aid. Before leaving the motel, Stan gave Pauline a GPS tracker to place under her car, allowing the agents to track her location discreetly. Overwhelmed by the revelations, Pauline left to take a few days to decide whether to join the witness protection program. However, paranoia consumed Pauline, leading her to make drastic changes in her life. She broke up with her boyfriend, quit her job, and moved into a separate apartment. Unable to bear the uncertainty, she called her mother and expressed her desire to join the program. Her mother and Stan were thrilled, but they explained that the process was complex and involved multiple people. They promised to connect her with one of their agents to initiate the transition. 5 years would pass as Pauline waited anxiously, and she met and married her husband, Kevin. Doubts began to creep in, making her question the reality of the situation. To verify the truth, Pauline decided to set up a sting operation on her mother and Stan. She called her mother, pretending that someone from the mafia had broken into her apartment. Her mother, falling for the ruse, assured her that undercover agents had apprehended the intruders. Confessing that it was all a lie, Pauline realized her mother and Stan had been living in an illusion since she was 5 years old. Stan suffered from delusion disorder, passing on his belief in the mafia onto Pauline's mother through a shared delusion disorder known as folie à deux, French for folly of two. Neither admitted to the lie, as they genuinely believed in the mafia's pursuit. Pauline confronted her mother and later Stan, but they maintained their hallucination until their deaths. They were more concerned about Pauline's safety, fearing the mafia would target her for not using her GPS tracker or joining the witness protection program. Although Pauline never received an apology or the opportunity to discuss the insanity of the situation thoroughly, she found solace by writing a best-selling memoir titled Run, Hide, Repeat, which details her experiences. In 2004, Mitch was in his final semester at a college in Louisiana when he met Kayla, a wonderful young lady who was also a senior at the same college. From the moment he saw her, Mitch knew he was in love. However, Kayla initially played hard to get, making him work for her affection. After several months of persistence, Mitch would eventually win her over. After graduation, Mitch and Kayla decided to stay in Louisiana and moved in together as they began their careers. Mitch's career started to take off, allowing Kayla to take some time off and be a stay-at-home mom when she became pregnant shortly after their marriage. They were overjoyed to welcome their first child, a daughter, into the world. Mitch's success continued growing, and he made enough money to support the family comfortably. Kayla decided to continue being a full-time mom, and a couple of years later she became pregnant again. This time they welcomed a son into their family when their daughter was 2. Mitch adored his children and cherished every moment with them. Before heading off to work each morning, he would sneak into their room and watch them sleep. The family would have big sit-down meals in the evenings, followed by playing games until bedtime. Mitch felt like his life was perfect. However, shortly after the birth of their son, Mitch began experiencing something strange. While lounging on the couch in his TV room, he noticed a red lamp in the corner of the room that appeared blurry. He thought it was just a momentary visual anomaly, but the entire light seemed blurry when he looked closer. None of the other objects in the room were affected, and he couldn't understand why only the lamp appeared that way. He rubbed his eyes and tried to ignore it, but the blurry lamp persisted in catching his attention. Strangely, it started to look upside down as well. Worried about his health, Mitch wondered if he was experiencing vision problems, having a stroke, or suffering from some other illness. However, he reassured himself that he was healthy and that it was likely just a strange abnormality. Mitch decided not to share his concerns about the lamp with his wife and children, not wanting to alarm them. He convinced himself he would figure out the reason before sharing anything. So, that night, the family had a sit-down meal together, played games, and then went to sleep. Unable to stop thinking about the blurry lamp, Mitch quietly slipped out of bed and went downstairs to the TV room. He sat on the couch and was fixated on the lamp for hours, watching it morph, turn upside down, and become increasingly distorted. His obsession with the light grew, and he became distant and detached from his family. Days passed, and Kayla noticed Mitch's strange behavior. She prodded and asked him what was wrong, but he insisted that he wasn't feeling well without revealing the truth about the lamp. She urged him to see a doctor, but he brushed off her concerns, assuring her that everything would be fine. As time passed, the lamp changed, growing larger and more bizarre. Mitch's mental state deteriorated, and he became unresponsive to his wife's pleas. Worried and desperate, Kayla called a doctor for help, while Mitch silently observed the lamp's transformation. Suddenly, the blurry lamp consumed his entire field of vision, and he heard distant voices and screams. Then, a blinding pain enveloped his head. When he opened his eyes, he found himself lying on the sidewalk next to one of the buildings at his college in Louisiana. A crowd of people with wide eyes surrounded him, staring in disbelief. Confused and disoriented, Mitch scanned the crowd, searching for Kayla and his children, hoping to find answers. However, before he could ask questions or locate his family, a police officer rushed through the crowd, picked him up, and hurriedly escorted him to his police car. In the back of the police car, Mitch finally mustered the strength to ask the officer what was happening. The officer informed him that he had been attacked by a huge college football player, resulting in him being hit in the head and losing consciousness. Mitch desperately inquired about his wife and children, but the officer had no information. At that moment, reality struck Mitch like a bolt of lightning. The lamp was not genuine, nor was his wife, daughter, son, or life he had believed in for the past 10 years. It had all been a hallucination while he was unconscious after the attack. Mitch was taken to the hospital where he fully recovered. However, the emotional and psychological impact of the revelation hit him hard. He had lost something he never honestly had, a family that existed only in his mind. Mitch sought intense therapy to process the grief and confusion of losing a life that was merely a figment of his imagination. These days, Mitch struggles to remember the faces of his imagined wife and children. Occasionally in his dreams, he catches glimpses of his perpetually 5-year-old son, desperately trying to communicate with him, but the messages remain incomprehensible, leaving Mitch with a deep sense of loss and longing for a family that never truly existed. That is it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you can enjoy our weekly uploads. See you in the next video.